Now we're going to the DRC. This is Central Africa. I'm sure you've heard about this country. Lovely place. Very good musical people. They're very known for their music. There's this guy named Kofi Olomide. I'm sure you heard of him. Papa Mobimba, yeah. Great guy. And many other guys. Many people, they love music. They're very happy people. But yeah, it's a country that's been through trouble. So now, the United Nations set December deadline for peacemaker to complete DRC Congo pullout. So in Congo, there has been United Nations military station for the longest years. This country has been through wars and difficulties for the past 30 years. Very, very difficult. In fact, the country was colonized by the Belgians. And before the Belgians was the King Leopold II that did horrendous things to the people. He chopped people's... I'm not going to talk about that. That's going to be censored, but it was really bad. And at the time, the industrialization in late 1800, when the boom of new cars came into the market, they were selling cars in the market. At that time, they were producing cars for the first time, you remember? And cars needed wheels in order to drive. And wheels are made of rubber, so you need to get rubber for you to have wheels. And Leopold II had this big chunk of a land in Africa that was his private property. It was called the Congo. And at the time, he went to the Congo because there was so much rubber in the Congo. Now, he took people of the Congo by force and forced them to get the rubber for him. He did some of the most cruel things ever. More than half of the population of the Congolese were. And nobody talks about this. And when they talk about the most evil person in the world, his name is not even part of it. Many years later, there was a president named Mobutu.
Moi, Mobutu Sese Seko Kukumbendu Wazabanga, élu président du mouvement populaire de la Révolution et de droit président de la République, je jure d'observer la Constitution et les lois de la République du Zaïre.
Mobutu did good in the beginning. He led the country to different avenues. He even got the Congolese people at the time to get their African names back. Yes, because Congolese people never really had the African names. They were called Jean-Pierre, Jean-Lucas, Duscar, Deschamps. Yes, President Mobutu was the person that brought back African names to Congolese people. So people that were called Jean-Luc, Jean-Lucas, then were called Mwekassa, and Kabaka, and Muindos, Bishikwabo. From those European names to back to African names. That's one of the good things this president did. But after that, yeah, he loved money so much and women and many other things. It was terrible. He ran the country in a way that only people from his tribe were actually doing good in the country. He gave opportunity to people from his province and specifically people from his tribe. 30 years later, after sufferings and difficulties, there was a movement coming from the east of the country with a man named Kabila with the goal of toppling this president. So I'm not going to give you a comprehensive story about the Congo. If you want to watch things about the Congo, you can Google it or YouTube it, you'll see it. I'm just giving you a brief so we can get to the point. After being toppled by the new president, Kabila, and the country started having a little bit of a peace moment, many Western companies and other entities were looking for the minerals of the Congo. Let me remind you this. Congo is one of the richest countries in the world in terms of mineral. Everything you can think about, they have it. You name it, they have it. Gold, diamonds, lithium, manganese, cobalt, uranium. In fact, the uranium used by America to bomb Japan during World War II in Hiroshima and Nagasaki was extracted from the Congo in the minings of Chikolobwe. Yes. So Congo is supposed to be one of the richest countries in the world in terms of everything. But corruption, bad governance, envy from other countries wanting to have the minerals the Congolese have has led to multiple rebellious groups, armed men, and scary people all over the country. Congo has right now over 120 rebel groups in the country. That's how sad it is.
Toka kwangu Kibumba, mimi nakumbuka mashamba zangu, nakumbuka nyumba yangu, nakumbuka gizi nilikuwa sishinde njala, watoto wangu walikuwa wanashinda biko nakula birai, kila kitu kiko kunyumba na msururu hata kosa, lakini leo hii tunashinda maisha ya makuni. Njoo kwa maana mtu anaweza kumbuka vya mingi vya kutoka Kibumba.
So the United Nations was brought into the Congo with the goal of kicking out those rebels because they were doing some of the most terrible things to the population. But they've been there for over 20 years. And fellas, let me put it this way for you. United Nations force in a country that's got rebels. Rebels are not army. And they have been unable to dislodge these people. How do you analyze this? You've been sent to the Congo with a budget of over $4 billion, but you are unable to kick out some small groups of rebels for 20 years? And this is the largest UN peacekeeping mission in the world. Does this make any sense? Or unless you are getting benefits from this war. You get salaries every month, many allowances, benefits and many other things. Well, you get to date some of these beautiful Congolese ladies. You get to drink and dance and do all that stuff. You never go to war. Why would you want to leave? In fact, at many times, Congolese people have asked those people to leave. They've asked the United Nations forces to leave. When the rebels showed up in town, the population suffered even though the United Nations forces were present. So the United Nations force was absolutely useless in the Congo. They were not even fighting the rebels because the population did not want them anymore. They became the enemy of the population.
Population inasirika, miaka 22 ya mauaji ni mingi na ndio mission ya kwanza ulimwenguni. Kwa leo raia wanasema MONUSCO iende, tumechoka na mauaji.
In fact, at many instances, they say and report that they confronted the army and they shot at each other. And the UN chief Antonio Guterres said he was outraged after two people were, when the United Nations peacekeepers opened during an incident in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and Ugandan border. Very sad. So they came from Uganda trying to get into the Congo by force, even though the military of Congo say you cannot go into our country this way. Coming from wherever, we don't know. They came and got inside by force. Finally, the president of the Congo asked them to leave.
For an accelerated withdrawal of MONUSCO by bringing forward the start of this progressive withdrawal from December 2024 to December 2023, he said.
As well as the population. And now they've set their departure for December. So again, fellas, if you look into it, these people come into Africa and African countries like they did in Mali and Niger and Burkina Faso, supposedly to finish wars and issues and terrorism and all other problems. But unfortunately, there's no one place. There isn't a place where you can say, here they came and they resolved the issue and they left. There isn't. Everywhere they've been, it has never been positive. Everywhere they've been, it's been problems. Whether it's in Haiti, where they contaminated the water, and many people, everywhere they've been, it's been a problem. And it's very, very sad. The question is, who's beyond the United Nations force? What are the actual goals? What are the actual goals of their missions? Is it really to dislodge bad people or to perpetuate something that nobody knows? Okay, fellas, thank you very much. I appreciate you. YouTube has told us that many of you are not subscribed. Please do so before you leave. Let's build our community and leave your comment. We want to hear from you. God bless.